Everybody get ready for a big surprise. Introducing Titan Godzilla. Wow, look at this. This is so huge, guys. Begone! Check out these dorsal plates on the back. And the sculpt, it's much bigger than anything else we've seen from Playmates so far. A lot to talk about here. Oh, scissors time! Alright, let's just cut these plastic ties off real quick. Well, there's a few more of them than I thought. Let's get this out of the box. There we go. He definitely can't stand up without his tail to balance. So let's get that tail assembled, shall we? All right, goodbye, box. Ooh, whoa, sorry about that. Okay, so let's put this tail together. Like so. Interesting. This is kind of rubbery. And then we simply put it in the rear. Please don't take that out of context. There we go. Now he can stand up on his own. Excellent. And his arms move. Check it out. Oh, and his legs as well. But not his head. His head does not have any articulation. Let's try. Yeah. Nope. No movement in the head whatsoever. Alright, and like I said, this figure is 58 centimeters tall, which is about 23 inches. It's not quite as tall as the Titan King Kong figure, which stands at 61 centimeters tall, but I do believe this Godzilla is longer, much longer than the King Kong one, obviously, with this huge tail. You cannot complain about the length of that tail. It is enormous. Honestly, this might be the largest Godzilla figure to have ever been mass-produced, outside of maybe that giant Godzilla figure from Jakks Pacific that I unfortunately missed out on a few years ago. Honestly, though, this looks like it could be a little bit taller than that one. If not, they're very close in size. From the tail all the way up the spine, it's totally painted, which is in contrast to the other Godzilla figures for this film from Playmates. Even the toenails are painted and the claws. They did not skimp out on the paint detail here. Look at the eyes. They're not as derpy looking as the smaller figures. Slightly better there in the eyes. Alright, so let's compare the size of this Titan Godzilla to the other Playmates Godzilla figures. Let's start with the giant evolved Godzilla, which is about 11 inches tall and was previously the largest Godzilla figure representing this movie earlier this year. And when you look at them side by side, they're very similar. The mold is very similar. In fact, check out the claws. It's basically beat for beat the same sculpt. When you put them side by side, you can even see their heads side by side. Other than the spikes and, slightly more detail since the Titan one is bigger, they're very similar. Now here comes the 6-inch version, which was one of the first to hit shelves this year. And you can see the sculpt, again, very similar, even down to the way that its foot bends at the bottom. You can see the evolutionary chain from the smallest to the largest. And there's still some more coming up. We've got a smaller Godzilla figure here, which is about 4 inches or so. But wait, there's more. This is the mini Godzilla, which is roughly 2 inches tall. So now you can see the lineup here, again, from the smallest to the largest. And what a lineup it is! From mini to Titan. Now let's focus on the dorsal plates and the differences between them on these two figures. As you can see on the giant 11-inch Godzilla, the dorsal plates on the back were more of a pink translucent color running all the way down the spine, whereas they're just solid pink on the new Titan figure. Now, I want to show you something important here, because one of my big nitpicks in the past has been these screw holes on the Playmates toys, whereas on this new one, look, no screw holes. Finally, you don't have to worry about screw holes messing up the look of your new Titan figure, which is a huge improvement.
My precious says.
And now for a big surprise, the original 11-inch giant Godzilla in its original pre-glow-up form, which is different not only in size but in design. Yeah, take a closer look at these two. You can compare the pink spikes and the blue spikes on the original, and as you can see, again, the difference in size between the 11-inch and the 24-inch. In fact, watch this. You could say that you have this original pre-evolved form, and then this evolves into the giant Godzilla that we all know and love with the pink spikes on the back, and which in turn changes into the Titan form that we see at the end. Time for a face-off with the other kaiju in the film, which are Shimo, this giant frost dragon, and of course Scar King. Godzilla totally outsizes them both. Behold, they are no match for Titan Godzilla. No contest. Bam! Easy peasy. Oh yeah. And tail swipe. That is cool. Oh yes. Wait, I'm not done. He's coming in for the stomping attack. Cool. And they're toast. Next, let's compare it to the Bandai Godzilla 1991 movie monster series, which is one of my favorite Godzilla designs of all time, measuring about 6.5 inches tall, a little bit less than 6.5 inches or so. Honestly, it's much smaller than the Titan Godzilla, but I do love this classic design, so it's really fun seeing them go toe-to-toe, head-to-head up against each other. Look at that Titan towering over himself. And now, why don't we make this a little interesting? Let's bring in the Hammond Collection Giganotosaurus from Mattel. This is from the Jurassic World line. Now, obviously, this Hammond Collection Giganotosaurus has way more points of articulation than the Titan Godzilla and is far more detailed with a better paint job overall. But I just want you to think for a moment and imagine, what if we had a Titan Godzilla like this with just as much detail and articulation as the Hammond Collection? And I think we could see it one day in the future. Just imagine if Hiya Toys made their own version of a Titan Godzilla. How epic that would be to have two high-quality figures from Jurassic World and Godzilla go up against each other. Honestly, these two are both high quality either way, and I love seeing them side by side, and I wouldn't put it past myself to make a video with these two duking it out in the future. But let's make it a fair fight. Let's have a Jurassic World kaiju. This is the Super Colossal Indoraptor from the Jurassic World line by Mattel. And it is a much larger Jurassic World figure that could fight a fair fight against the Titan Godzilla. The Super Colossal Indoraptor has more articulation, and it does have a hollowed out stomach, which allows it to swallow its enemies. So it can open its jaws wide enough that it could even maybe Swallow Godzilla's head whole. Just brainstorming for future video ideas. So, just to recap, I love the coloration of the dorsal plates on Godzilla's spine here. What it lacks in articulation, it makes up for in overall mass. I love that it really lives up to its name of Titan Godzilla. Ultimately, I give it 2 big thumbs up. This figure is slated to retail for $89.99 in the US, which is roughly what I paid for it. Do I wish it was more detailed and had more articulation? Yeah. Although I have to admit the Playmates designs have grown on me. So I say, if you're a Godzilla fan, definitely pick up Titan Godzilla. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. That's all, folks. Cyrosaur out.